Hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to go over some of my collecting goals and retrospective for 2022. I did one of these last year. I actually started doing these in 2020, and I did one last year, and I thought I would do one again this year, just as like a little recap. I'm recording it a little bit earlier than I did last year, just because I left it like way too long last year. So it's November now, the end of November. So I just thought I'd get it done early and kind of like go over some things. I've got some notes. I've got some other things to go over. I hope the whole situation here looks okay. I really should probably start doing these recordings during the day. Some natural light would probably make this situation look a little bit less blurry. But anyway, without further ado, I'm kind of going to get into it because there's a little bit of stuff here that we have to go through. So to start off, I do have some general kind of like points here that I want to go over. First things first, due to the fast-paced nature of collecting these days, my goals are constantly changing and adjusting, and I'm really just trying to learn more every day about myself, especially in relation to this hobby. So I really spent a lot of time this year thinking about what I want from Pokemon cards and what it is about cards that I enjoy in general. And from there, I've just been trying to understand, the best way to continue engaging in a way that makes me happy. And now I think my collection is really beginning to represent me as a collector, and that's something that's special to me. And to kind of touch on that a little bit more, there was a period of time this summer where I was like really struggling with collecting a little bit. I just kind of felt that I was like really focused on buying a lot of things and buying a lot of cards, but they weren't really making me happy in the way that I thought they would. And I was kind of just trying to really understand why and like the core of that and what was going on there. And so I've really just been trying to like hone in on that. And it honestly took me a long time to get past that, and it's still something that's like pretty regularly on my mind. Like I didn't just figure it out and move on and that was the end of it, but like it's still something I'm thinking about. I feel like I'm in a better place with it, I guess I should say. And I actually did make a video about it in the summer, but I didn't really like post it. So I'm still not really sure if I will. Anyway, that's it on that. So to start off, I kind of wanted to share some of the acquisitions I made this year. I made the decision to call them acquisitions over purchases, because I was kind of trying to focus a little bit less on the monetary side of things. And I know that seems kind of arbitrary, and calling them acquisitions does sound a little bit extra, but I'll probably slip up and end up calling them purchases in this video anyway. But that's kind of just where I'm at with it. I'm just kind of trying to like be a bit more thoughtful about the way that I think about and engage with the hobby. But anyway, so yeah, I did want to talk about that first. And then second, I wanted to reflect a little bit on the video I uploaded last year and, where I was, what my plans were, and what my experience has been over this year, and, what I've really been up to, because it's kind of been quiet from me. And, I mainly make videos mostly for myself, my own personal sort of account and journal of what's going on in my life. But I haven't really done a lot in the public eye, so to speak, this year. So I did kind of want to touch on like what I've been up to in the hobby and whatnot. And then lastly, I'm kind of going to discuss my plans, thoughts and feelings, and whatever have you going forward into 2023. Crazy 2023. Anyway, like what's on my mind right now, things I want to change, what I'm thinking about, and all that. So we'll start off with acquisitions. I bought a lot of stuff this year. Bought a lot of stuff. I feel like I didn't really spend more than I did the year before. I just feel like it was a lot more pointed. There was a lot more intention in the things that I was buying. But I ended up actually buying a lot of modern, product and opening that. And I don't know if you can see from the angle, but I have like 15 empty boxes on my shelf here that I just keep as a display now. But yeah, I ended up buying a bunch of like modern like Swish era boxes that I kind of went back to all the way to like Fusion Arts S8, and I just kind of like went through and opened like one box of each set, and you know, up to like S11. I haven't opened Paradigm Trigger yet because the boxes came out. I lost the Pokemon Center Japan lottery. Boxes are like friggin' over $100. I'm not paying that much for a booster box of the set that just came out. That's ridiculous. So haven't opened any of that. I'm sure I'll probably open it next summer the same way I did and was feeling the end of the year last year. But anyway, so yeah, I did that. I also got some more binders. Most notably, I bought my first 12 pocket binder, which I actually have right here. It's an Ultra Pro 12 pocket. It's got this nice premium suede finish on it. It's actually really nice. It has S9, so it has Starbirth, S10, Time Gazer, and Space Juggler, and then it also has Lost Abyss. So it has all 4 sets in there. It's a really fun thing about Japanese sets. They're a lot smaller. You can fit like 4 or 5 of them into one binder, which is awesome. So yeah, I've got that going on. I also started a VMAX Climax binder. It's back here. You can't really see it, but it's got, I didn't collect like the main set. It was only the CHRs and then the CSRs, the full arts, gold cards, whatever have you. I haven't completed it yet, but it's in the works. I've been working on it slowly over the past, couple months, and that's been really enjoyable for me. I also have 25th anniversary in that binder. That includes English and Japanese, and it also has Pokemon Go in it, which Pokemon Go is actually a nice little set. I know it got like a lot of hate when it first started, when it first became a thing. People were like, Pokemon Go, this sucks, but I actually really like it. It's quite small and compact, and it's nice to have a set that's not going to take like, 2 years and like $3,000 to put together. So, I opened one box of it, and there's like a page of secret rares, and that's it. So that's really nice and refreshing just to have a small little set, and I think it's a cool set. Anyway, I'll move on from that because but anyway, so that's what's going on there. I also I did get another binder just for English. I don't really collect a ton of English like sets these days, not modern anyway. I do collect like the English vintage. But so in that binder it's also behind me, I have Darkness Ablaze and Evolutions in there. Darkness Ablaze was the first set I opened when I started collecting again in 2020, so that set kind of has a special place in my heart. Side note, I don't know why everybody hates on Darkness Ablaze. I actually like the set. I think it's a good set. People always say it's like boring and that it sucks. I disagree. Like, I think it's a cool set, but people just seem to really hate on that set, and I don't really get it. Anyway, it also has Evolutions in it, which is pretty cool. I opened one box of Evolutions, and then I just had it sitting around. I was like, I'm going to stick it in here. All the binders are still incomplete. I'm still missing a bunch of cards, but they're all in binders now. I actually do also have a bunch of other incomplete things like Japanese sets and whatever have you sitting around in like ETB boxes and stuff, just waiting to go in binders. But I kind of just wanted to focus on the five? Is it 5? Yeah, it's about 5. I wanted to focus on the binders I have now and just, focus on getting those ones filled up so I don't have like 20 half-finished binders just sitting around. I just kind of was like, I think I'm going to draw the line there. And So anyway, I also did get some sealed product this year. It's not a lot though. I think I was initially planning on getting more, and I just didn't really end up doing that. But there was a back to school sale on cards. I don't know why, but there's a website that was having a back to school sale. They actually had some really good deals on English product. I don't normally buy English product, but I got this Crobat box and a couple other boxes because they were on like really good sale. I'm actually pretty sure this box was like $30-$40 or something, and it's normally like $70, and I think it was like over $100 at one point. And I was just like, $40. I don't really want to open it, so it's kind of just here on my shelf now as a display piece. But yeah, I got that. I also do have a few Japanese booster boxes. I actually bought a couple boxes to keep sealed for my sealed collection, and then I just ended up opening them. Specifically, I bought like 2 VMAX Climax boxes when they were like $60, and I opened them because like I just have poor self-control, and now the boxes are like over $100, and the singles are like, I don't know why I didn't just buy the singles. I wish I wouldn't have done that, but I don't know. Anyway, I have another one now. It is sealed. It's not getting opened. And there's a couple other boxes in there. Like I bought Fusion Arts when it reprinted for like $50 or $60. Somehow that box is back up to $100. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm glad I got it when I did. And I just kind of have some like modern Japanese boxes sealed or whatever have you. Nothing too crazy. So the biggest area that I guess acquired the most items in this year was definitely graded cards and cards to be graded. So I bought a lot of graded cards, and many of them are not actually with me here at the moment. And like they weren't all like, it's not like I was like balling out of control buying like thousands of dollars worth of like graded cards and shit. Like they weren't like crazy expensive cards. It was just like I was buying high grade cards of just like things that I wanted and liked, and you know they weren't all terribly expensive. Like I was buying like PSA 10. Not like I wasn't going out of my way to, but this is the problem with PWCC. It's like you go on there, scroll through, and you're like, oh that's good, I like that. Let me bookmark that, and then you just end up buying shit that like you probably wouldn't have bought. But at the same time, like I did also end up buying a lot of cards that I wouldn't have gone out of my way to buy, that I actually got like really, really good deals on. So like I bought a bunch of like PSA 10 like baby shinies from like Japanese Ultra Shiny. I think there was 1 or 2 Hidden Fates ones in there. And then I bought the gold PSA 10 the gold Eternatus V from Shiny Star B. And like most of those cards were like, I got some of them for like $10, like $20 for like PSA 10 like shiny cards or gold cards. I was just like, I don't understand, but whatever. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Got some cheap cards there. I also bought some unstamped 2004 Worlds cards just because like they're awesome, and like nobody can well, I shouldn't say nobody. I can't afford Tropical Wind 2004 unless it is the unstamped version, because I think the next one after that is like the staff, or maybe it's just like the regular competitive stamp, but like they're very expensive. Okay, like even for a staff card in like PSA 9, they're like over $1,000. So not getting that. So I just ended up buying a couple of the unstamped ones because they're like a lot cheaper, and they're clean. They're really cool. Fun fact too, the 2004 is the only version that has a unstamped spectator version. So this card does not have any stamp on it whatsoever, not even the Worlds 04 stamp on the like illustration. It's the only version, so pretty cool. It's also the first I'm pretty sure it's the first World Championships after Nintendo. I don't know if it's Nintendo, after Pokemon, like the rights to the cards were bought by Pokemon. So they're not, this is first World Championships after Wizards of the Coast. And yeah, anyway. So I bought a lot of set cards as well, graded set cards. More than I initially intended, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. They were all like Japanese vintage cards and whatever have you, but overall like I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think I stayed true to the goals that I initially set out. I ended up buying some PSA 10 Neo 4 cards, like 1 or 2 Fossil cards, 1 or 2 Jungle cards, and then I think 1 Gym 2 card. So that was pretty much like the bulk of what I bought, because those cards are, they're not like terribly expensive, but I'm not made of money. So I bought a bunch of like vintage Japanese set cards, and I also ended up buying some English vintage set cards. I got some PSA 8 Shadowless Hollows, and I've been making like pretty decent progress on that, so I'm feeling pretty good about that, on that whole set. I also got a Game Boy Lugia PSA 9, which was very it was a pretty sizable purchase. But yeah, it's a really nice card. I'm glad I got it. I was planning on getting the Game Boy promos. I didn't get the Dragonite or the GR Mewtwo. I originally thought there was only 3 Game Boy promos, but there's actually like a lot more, and I don't really understand. But anyway, the GR Mewtwo is like on my radar, but I kind of just accepted that I didn't get it this summer and let that one go, and I'll get it whenever next year, whatever. So. Anyway, I also got a 2019 Player Ceremony card and a 2022 Player Ceremony card. I ended up getting the 2019 in like April, I think, in the spring, and it's not out here with me, but I just recently graded it, and it came back a 10, so feeling pretty good about that. I also bought some WotC Hollows to grade and sell, and I also did buy a Victory Medal set at the beginning of the summer, and it was all 3 the silver, gold, and bronze 2009 Victory Medals, and then it also had a 2006 stamped silver Victory Medal, and then I think it just had the regular 2006 silver medal. So I think the price that it was originally selling for, and like I looked at the listing, and they were all like mint. And I was so excited because I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, it was like $1,000 or something, which I know it's a lot of money, but like, that's like less money than it would be to buy all those cards individually. So I was like, obviously I have to get this. And then I ended up buying it. It got to me, and the cards were like not as advertised. They were all like damaged. And some of them, like the stamped one was pretty heavily damaged. And then the 2006 silver wasn't even the right. It was like swapped out for like another year, and I was just like, wow, this sucks. So that was really shitty, and I ended up returning it and like getting my money back. So like, it wasn't like a big deal in terms of that, but it just sucked because I was like really excited about it, and it was like a huge purchase for me, and so that was kind of crappy, but whatever. I mean, it ended up kind of working out. It didn't really end up working out, but I got my money back, so that's what's important. Anyway, keep it moving here. Let's see. So I did also get a lot of modern Japanese cards because I ended up filling up my like binders. I got a bunch of binder cards, and then I also just got like a bunch of modern Japanese cards to like grade. So like, for example, I got a Gold Star Umbreon from 25th anniversary. Cards like that. I got this. I think this Rescue Team Pikachu is from last year. But yeah, so that's one. Yeah, stuff like that. I got a couple of those. I also did buy some No Symbol Jungle. I have the PSA 9 Snorlax here, which is crazy. That's like the chase card of the set, and I got a pretty solid deal on that one, so I'm happy to have that out of the way. I did also just get some like PSA 7 and 8 No Symbol cards, because like it's the PWCC thing, right? Like you just see them there, and then you bid on them, and then suddenly you have them. So, But all those ones I bought on PWCC were like stupidly, like in my opinion, they were stupidly underpriced. Like I was paying like $20 or $30 for like some of these No Symbol cards and like PSA 7 or 8. To me, I think that's a good deal. I'm pretty sure No Symbol Jungle cards are more rare than first edition Jungle cards. I don't know if that directly equates to like having the same amount of demand or the same amount of value, but I mean, I think that's good. You know, for when it comes to English, I find that I like to collect more like, I like to collect niche English, if that makes sense. Like when I collect Shadowless base set, it's kind of niche, and then No Symbol Jungle, like I feel like English has to have something something going on in order to get me as interested in it. But I'm really happy with what I've done. So yeah, I got some PSA 8 Shadowless. Jeez. Yeah, I got some PSA 8 Shadowless, some No Symbol. Feeling pretty good about that. And yeah, so anyway, we're going to move on to the next part here. We're going to reflect a little bit on 2022. So to start, PSA had an $18 special in July for TCG for trading cards. So I actually made my first ever PSA submission. I ended up buying a membership and just submitting 21 cards, I believe. And so that was really crazy. It actually was super quick. I submitted it in July, obviously, and then I sent it out in August, and then it arrived like not that long ago, just a couple weeks ago, the end of October it came back. So it was super quick. If you're interested in like an in-depth about that, I did upload a video of the submission and the return. So if you want to look at that, you know, feel free. If not, I'll sum it up really quickly. Overall, it went really well. I'm happy with my ability to pre-grade, so that's good. Unfortunately, I did have some cards that got a little bit roughed up in the process of grading. You know, they had came back with more like whitening, like corner edge wear, and like in some cases like significantly more than they had beforehand, which ended up affecting some of the grades, grading a little bit lower. But some specific examples: this PSA 8 no stamp had no whitening. All the no stamp cards I got were like mint. Like, I don't know, this guy had like so many mint cards, but they were all mint. This one came back like pretty roughed up, so much so that it got an 8. And yeah, and then there was also this Blaine's Charizard, which did still grade a 9, but it came back with like corner whitening. And then the Venusaur, I was really hyped about this base set Venusaur last year, and it ended up coming back a little bit beat up as well, and it ended up grading an 8, which really sucks because I was like really gassed and I thought it might get a 10 or at least a 9, but it's fine. You know, I ended up still being okay. Those were just some, I don't know, I guess lowlights. I was gonna say highlights, but it's like highlights of the things that went wrong. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. Either way, like aside from that, the submission itself went pretty well. I'm still happy it happened. I still got to grade a bunch of my cards, and I'm just really happy having all those cards now graded, and you know, finally getting to send off a submission and, you know, dip my toes in the water, I guess. Anyway, from that point on, I did actually end up doing my first Pokemon card sales as well. So I'm pretty sure it was this year. It might have been this year, it might have been last year. I ended up selling, I bought like a Unified Minds booster box for like $200 in like 2020, and I ended up selling it. It might have been this year, I can't remember if it was last year or this year, but I ended up selling it for like $300 or $400, so that was pretty cool. Made me feel like a Pokemon flipper. But I actually, some of the cards I ended up grading, I sent out to a consignor here in Canada. His name's Joshua Ottawa. And, you know, I was really happy with, you know, the business that he was running there. And I sent him some of my cards and we talked some of the details. And yeah, it's been great. Some of my cards have already sold, so that's kind of crazy to think about. So yeah, I made my first sales. It's a nice little milestone to break there. I also, as previously mentioned, made an account on PWCC and bid on my first auction with PWCC, and ended up buying a bunch of stuff from there, as we talked about. And yeah, so a lot of those cards, actually all of those cards, are still at PWCC in the PWCC vault because I'm just unable to ship them back at the moment, but they'll come back eventually, and when they do, I'll probably make a video about it. Anyway, this is a little bit unrelated to cards, but I also did make some small goals in video games. You know, I've been really wanting a few games, and I did get some, which was cool. I'm not like crazy big into collecting video games. Like, I don't grade or collect sealed or anything like that. It's just not really my scene. But I've been collecting Nintendo games for a very long time, since before I got back into cards. Pretty much my whole life I've been just kind of like collecting, you know, like Japanese Pokemon games, other Nintendo games, just whenever, just like when I feel like it, buying the games I like. And that's something that I've been kind of doing a bit more recently as well. So yeah, I did actually get Super Mario Advance and Super Mario Advance 4. You probably can't see it, it's on the shelf up there, but they're both complete in box, and those are good. I also have some other goals that I set, a couple other games that I wanted to pick up. I didn't end up picking them up, but yeah, it's not that serious. I'm not like bothered about it, but anyway, so that's pretty cool. I also modded my first Game Boy, which is like another hobby I picked up in the spring, late winter. I bought a Game Boy Advance. Actually, it's right here. So I got a Game Boy Advance, and I modded it. It has an IPS screen now, and I also swapped out the case on it. It's a little bit loose. It wasn't like a perfect experience. Some things did go wrong, but I've been playing some of the Game Boy games I've bought this summer on it, and it's just been really fun. And that was my first time doing that, and I have some plans to hopefully mod another one. And I actually bought a broken one and like took it apart and managed to fix it, which was really cool. I also had some other plans. I wanted to like get a Game Boy Color and mod the screen. I also kind of wanted to get an SNES. You can see, just kind of gets out of hand, but so I do have some plans and ideas there. I didn't really do much for all of them, but those ideas are still in the background. I also started using a proxy service. This is like quite recent. This was within the past couple months. I signed up to pre-order Scarlet and Violet and get the pre-order bonuses, and I've been making some purchases from Japan, so that was really crazy. Looking back, I did a lot of really cool stuff this year. I got into a lot of cool stuff, so that's really fun. Hey guys, what's going on? Just cutting in really quick because I realized that I forgot to mention a few things in my reflection that I intended to mention. Sorry for the like janked up camera angles. It's just like my tripod literally broke like 2 seconds after I finished recording the video, so it's just kind of broken in half on the ground. But anyway, I'll make this really quick. So first things first, I wanted to say that Sword and Shield is over. Officially, technically. I mean, V-Star Universe isn't out yet. There's probably still going to be some Swish stuff, but Scarlet and Violet Promo 1 is now out. Scarlet and Violet is out. There it is back there. So Sword and Shield is officially kind of over. And that's kind of crazy to me because, this is the era that got me back into the card game, and it's just, so much has happened, like COVID, everything, all kinds of stuff. Like the Sword and Shield era has just been such a tumultuous journey, and I just can't believe that it's over, that we're moving on now to the next era of cards. And it's just going to be interesting to see Sword and Shield kind of in the rear view mirror and sort of see how those things exist and are perceived over time and whatnot. And so keep it kind of brief with that. And then also I wanted to mention that I forgot to say that I'm also attending my first Pokemon event. The regional championships is happening in Toronto literally in like 2 days. It's the 30th. Yeah, it's the 30th of November, and so Friday, December 2nd, over that weekend, that is going to be the regional championships. Mitsuhiro Arita is going to be there, which is crazy. And he's going to be doing signings and whatnot. So I'm going. It's going to be fun. Hoping to meet up with some of the people on E4. Kind of nervous about that, but excited. It's cool to be part of that community and engage with people and, actually meet some people in person and go to like an actual Pokemon event, because I haven't had the chance to, right? Because COVID. So it's crazy. I'm going to my first event. I'm really hoping to get some cards signed. I actually did. I'm going to purchase this. I'm going to break it out of the slab. But I purchased this, and I'm also having some other cards here. Not the unlimited magic carpet. It's just a pack of cards of different cards. There's a Shadowless Abra in there that I'm thinking of getting signed. So I'm going to try and get a couple cards signed. That's the intention. I don't know how things are going to go, seeing as like the Kuki Saito signing didn't go very well, but I'm hoping to. So I'm going to go do that on Friday and over the weekend coming up, and that's really exciting. So yeah, sorry for this like weird camera angle. I'm like trying to extend my hand as far as it'll go, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so those are just a few things I forgot to mention that I am excited about that are also big firsts, big things to think about. But yeah, anyway, back to the video. Now I kind of want to go over the collection goals I made before my 2021 video, because the original collection goals were made from October 2021. It's the ones that are hanging on the wall there. You probably can't see them, but it's still there hanging on the wall. So I'm going to go over the ones I talked about in the last video, and then I'm going to go over another list because I ended up making another list that's a bit more specific earlier this summer / in the spring, I think. Okay, before I go over those lists, we're going to go into some categories. So first off, we have sealed. For sealed, I didn't, like I said, I kind of bought some Japanese and that was pretty much it. Going into next year for sealed, probably just gonna focus on first edition English vintage packs. I'm not sure how much of that I'm actually gonna buy, but if I do buy sealed English, it's probably gonna be something along those lines. I was thinking about opening some vintage Japanese packs. Jury stiletto on that one. It was a thought. Still thinking, still a thought. I also did, like I said, get some modern booster boxes. I have a couple more that I still want to get for sets that I really like Starbirth, S10. I don't really care about S11, but stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I kind of had stuff like that. It'd be really cool to get some unpeeled vending sheets. That's something I've been looking into and been really interested in. Super cool stuff. And outside of that, I mean, in terms of English, like said, I think I said this last year too, maybe some special ETBs, some special set stuff. Other than that, that's all I can really think of. In terms of singles, I have nothing specific in mind for singles, other than maybe some binder cards and some more Japanese singles that I might plan to grade in the future. And I kind of found that for most of the things that I want, the best option is just to buy it already graded. If I'm looking to have it graded in terms of vintage and stuff, most of the time it's best to just buy it graded and just be done with it, and rather than go through this trouble of trying to find a mint copy raw and then grade it myself. So nothing crazy going on in singles. For collecting overall, I do have a collecting overall category. That's going to cover some stuff outside of cards. Like I said, I do have some video games stuff that I'd like to look into a little bit more. I've really been embracing my love for the Game Boy Advance. It's the console I grew up playing. That's why I've got some games in the modded Game Boy Advance. That's been happening. And aside from that, I'm really mainly looking for games that I'm interested in. So Donkey Kong games, Metroid, other Nintendo games, Japanese Pokemon games, whatever have you. And maybe I'll also look into grabbing some guidebooks, some old guidebooks. I do like collecting guidebooks. That's what's happening up there. I also like manga collecting. That's what's going on down here. And then I also have art books up there. And then, as you can probably gather, consoles as well. So just some other stuff like that. And next, I'm going to go into some of these lists that I made. This one's super fucking long, so we're going to go into the one on the wall there, still on the wall. Pretty much everything on that list I haven't really crazy gone into yet. I did end up picking one of the Celebi Vs up from the Alt-Art Japanese card. I tried to pick up some victory medals, didn't really work out. I did pick up some Game Boy promos. I did pick up some no symbol jungle cards. Aside from that, I did pick up some play promos as well. And aside from that, not much. We did get some first base. I did get some first edition base in PSA 9 mostly, but there was one PSA 10 in there, just non-holo cards. Aside from that, I'm just quickly scanning over this list. Yeah, so made some decent progress on that. This list is a bit more specific. We'll get into that. I have a bunch of victory medals here with some details and prices. Obviously, you know how the victory medal situation went. Didn't really work out super well. Player ceremony / celebration fanfare cards. Still interested in that. I did end up picking a few of those up, as we already touched on. So that's really great. 2004 Tropical Wind unstamped. Got a couple of those. Other than that, I haven't really been dabbling too heavy into the Worlds cards. They're quite expensive, so probably gonna just wait on those ones for a little bit. I also have just some other obscure Japanese promos going on here. We've got Palace Belt and Palace Book. So Palace Book, I did actually end up buying a Palace Book. It was the XYP 2014 release, not the Sun and Moon release. I got it in like June, and I'm pretty sure that's like the only version, like the only copy of that card to sell this year. So I'm glad that I decided to commit to buying that when I did, because I saw it and I was like, oh, am I really gonna go like pay $300, $400 for this card? And if I wouldn't have, that would have been it. So I'm glad that I ended up buying it. It's only pop 37 total. I bought it PSA 10. This total pop may have gone up a little bit, but it's quite lower than I think one would expect. Anyways, so we'll keep it going. We got like Master Battle Set, Championship Arenas, Pokemon Card Laboratory. That's a 2004 promo. Didn't pick up any of those or the 2014 Gym Medal. These are just things like points of interest, specific cards. I didn't really pick up a ton of these ones. I also have Battle Festa promos on there. Probably gonna look more into that next year. Didn't pick up any this year because they were a little bit more. Yeah. So beyond that, we have some play promos. I did buy play promos, but I only bought like the Reggie Ice and the Reggie Steel. I had some plans to buy the more expensive ones perhaps next year. We'll see. We'll see. We do have some Game Boy promos on here as well. I did purchase, like I said, the Lugia, some other stuff on here. Got some English Modern on here as well, like celebration stuff, various promos for English Modern, like Special Delivery Pikachu, the Special Art VMAX Evolutions, the Gold Reshizard and Pika-ROM promos, UPC promos. In all honesty, I didn't pick up any of these. I wanted to, but I just never got around to it, so I will continue with that. Into Japanese Modern, I did end up picking up a Gold Star Umbreon. I bought it in the summer for like $60. It ended up grading a 10, which is great because the price has like exploded on the Gold Star Umbreon, but also just on 25th anniversary promos in general. They're kind of starting to correct out a little bit. Like over the past few months, they've gone like that Gold Star Umbreon went up to like $200 raw. It's come back down to around $100 now. We're hoping it's going to continue to come down, but for for Japanese Modern, that's mostly what it was about. Some 25th anniversary promos, which I did get some, as I said. I got like Koro Start Deck Eevee there. We got some CHRs, which I did get. We do also have some sealed on there. We already kind of touched on that. We do have Koro Pikachu VMAX, which I also did get. We got the Mischievous Pichu, which I also got, and stuff like that. So I bought a lot of Japanese Modern, and I probably will continue to. Anyways, we'll get into English Vintage now, the next category. Don't worry, we're almost done here. On this list, we got first edition Sabrina's Gengar. I did not buy that because I've been really in between whether I want the English or the Japanese version. I'm thinking I'm probably going to buy the Japanese version. Either way, it's not happening this year. So, yeah. Anyway, we also got no symbols on here, which I did get some, as I said. We got some first edition / shadowless base non-holos. Also got a few of those, like said. We got shadowless. I also had some original EX era cards on here in PSA 9 that I was planning and hoping to get. Fortunately, didn't really get around to them this year, but definitely still on the radar going into next year. So Japanese Vintage is where I bought a lot of cards this year. Bought a lot of set cards here. So we got some promos, or not promos, rather, holo set cards from like the original sets, and then some Neo cards as well. I did end up buying like most of the Neo 4 promos. I managed to miss the Light Dragonite, which was like one of my favorite cards from the set. Just every single time I went to buy it, it just didn't work out, and it's just been difficult to figure out, and so that's unfortunate. It's fine. I'll just get it next year, I'm thinking. But I've also found out that I really quite enjoy Jungle as a set, and I've been trying to like I don't know if I should buy Japanese Jungle cards in PSA 10 or focus on the no symbol English cards. Like, I'm just really back and forth on it. I ended up buying a little bit of both, but nothing too crazy going on there. And then, like said, we did get a bunch of Neo 4 cards like Light Arcanine, Dark Ampharos, Dark Gengar, Dark Espeon as well. And we also have the Umbreon and Espeon from Neo 2 on here. I almost bought the Umbreon and PSA 10 from Neo 2 this summer, but I didn't. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it's very expensive, and I'll just, nah. And I also have the Espeon on here, which isn't that expensive. But yeah, it's still on there. I ended up buying the Dark Espeon, so I probably won't get that one at the moment. But they're both illustrated by Atsuko Nishida, which is one of my favorite illustrators. But yeah, so there's just kind of like some more specific cards that are on that list. Kind of rip through it really fast. But yeah, so just to give you some idea of like what I'm buying, where my mind is going, and the kind of things I'm focusing on. And I think I'm really happy with how things have turned out. You know, I've got my Rescue Team Pikachu. I love the Mystery Dungeon series. If you could see the games on my shelf here, I pretty much own every single Mystery Dungeon game. You know, I got the Blaine's Charizard. That's hype. By the way, that's like one of the best Charizard cards. I don't care. It's better than basic Charizard. I don't want to hear it. Also got, you know, the no symbol cards. I've got some other cards in here. This brown box from PSA. That's where I store them now. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about that. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and finish off this video now, and we're gonna finish that off with kind of where I'm looking forward into the future and how I'm going into 2023. So we got some big ideas. I'm going into 2023 feeling pretty good. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about my collection, what I'm collecting, what I'm focusing on, and I'm pretty much just going to continue on with what I've been doing. And this is what I've kind of just outlined is where I've been, and that's kind of where I plan to continue to be. That's where I'm happy right now. And yeah, and I have some bigger things planned, and you know, now that I've got some more money from selling some of these cards, you know, it's kind of opening the door up a little bit as well. It's opening up my price ceiling is rising a little bit as I sell more cards. You know, and that's a great feeling, really. That's good. I really enjoy that. And yeah, it's been really crazy coming out of 2020 and even into 2021. It's just been wild. And, you know, things have been really all over the place. It's been really difficult to, you know, it's honestly been like a roller coaster, and it's just been like whiplash non-stop of like things just going up and down and up further, and just trying to really, you know, come into the hobby during this time and form a healthy relationship with things has been incredibly difficult. But I feel like things finally, 3 years out now, things are finally starting to stabilize, calm down a little bit. Not too calm. You know, the market, everyone's kind of on that doomsday shit, saying the market's going crazy, or the market's dying or something. I don't know what that's all about. The market's feeling pretty healthy to me. You know, I'm still seeing pretty crazy stuff going on. So yeah, but it is starting to chill a little bit, which is nice. And, you know, PSA is opening back up. They got the $18 submissions now. I did miss the $15 special because I submitted for the 18. I was like, damn, I could have just waited, but you know, hindsight's 2020. But anyway, so yeah, PSA is opening up. You know, it just felt like it took a really long time, you know, to get cards, to hunt these cards down, to grade them, and just really to get the ball rolling on everything. Like I've had all these plans and ideas for like a few years now, and it's really taken a lot of time and work to really just get things like going. And you know, it finally does feel like the ball has started rolling though, and that, you know, it feels like I'm finally kind of like seeing the fruits of my labor, so to speak. You know, all that time and work and research I've been doing, I feel like it's finally starting to come back to me a little bit, and things are starting to feel like okay, like we're actually getting somewhere now. So it's just taken a long time to get things started, but I'm feeling pretty good about how things have gone this year and just how things are going. So I think I'm just going to focus on selling cards and, potentially getting an eBay store up and running, because as I said, I'm consigning right now. So, selling some low value cards to start, getting more familiar with the process and just getting the eBay store up and running. That would be really crazy cool. I really want to sell some cards, and figuring out a good system for storing and processing and just keeping inventory and understanding how to do all that, that's kind of on my radar going into 2023, and really starting to be able to make some moves in this hobby. Some things I've been thinking about for a long time. That's exciting. And like I said, now that I'm selling, it's really starting to get me some more money to buy more cards with, and that's really awesome. And I'm just going to focus on trying to use that money, to get more cards that I think would be good for selling and for my collection, and just kind of, get it going and keep things going. So that's really fun. I think I'm just going to keep on keeping on. I'm happy with the goals I set, and I'm happy with the progress I've been making, where things have been. I'm just feeling really good about that. So I definitely want to continue as well to focus on binders a little bit more, moving forward, because I did kind of make that shift over the past 6 months, I'd say, where I was like, okay, I think I kind of want to step away from, because the beginning of the year was graded. I was buying slabs. I spent all my money on slabs, a lot of my year budget on slabs, and that was great, and I'm happy with that. But I kind of decided to shift a little bit away towards binders a little bit more, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with the balance I found there, and I think I'm just going to keep on with that and just keep enjoying the hobby and the way things have been, because I really have been lately. I feel like I've really found my footing with that. So yeah, that's some of my thoughts on 2022. And moving forward into 2023, that's my retrospective. That's where I've been and where I'm planning on going. And yeah, I will see you again next year, so we can talk about this again, and we'll see how things are and what's happening. So yeah, see you later.